Hello everyone and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Kiramager Robo Series 01 Mashin Sentai DX Kiramajin. So very excited for this. I've been excited since we first saw pics. I think this Megazord, Mecha, Robo, whatever term you want to use, looks really cool. I like it a lot. The one thing that I do think is funny with this, so the technical romanization of Kiramager has kind of been contested back and forth, but you can see that that's finally been kind of solved here. Mashin Sentai Kiramager, like the word Mage, M-A-G-E-R, instead of actually romanizing the katakana, which would be M-E-I. So that's what we're going with. But then I don't know how to romanize the items like the Kiramai changer instead of Kirame, because they take the M-A from the romanization and just throw the I on the end. It's very weird. So I'm calling this guy, he's obviously Kiramajin, but I guess it would be written like Kiramajin. So do I want to call him Kiramajin or do I want to call him Kiramajin? I don't know. I'm going to go with Kiramajin. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, I was going to say feel free to let me know in the comments, but you can't. So anyway, this is a set of all 5 of the mecha. So you have Mashin Fire, Mashin Shovel, Mashin Maha, Mashin Jet, and Mashin Hediko, which is short for helicopter. So taking a look at the front of the packaging, very cool. It's very interesting packaging. It's not super huge because the guy himself is not super huge, but I like it. I think it's fun. It's a good size. It's not super huge. It has kind of a fun shape to it. It really kind of reminds me of the original, like, 20th anniversary Prime, like the very first Masterpiece thing that ever happened when it was released over here. That's what the packaging really reminds me of. I don't know why. But in any case, flipping around to the back, you can see the individual mecha. You have 2 different robot combinations. I should say 2 individual robot combinations. And then, of course, you can put all 5 together to make the full robot combination. So I think this is, yeah, this is Land Mage, Sky Mage, and then this is Kiramajin. So pretty cool. There's definitely a lot of fun to be had here. You can see there's also the gem mode, which we'll take a look at. But yeah, a lot to unpack here, so let's go ahead, we'll get them out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So here are the 5 mecha out of the packaging here in their vehicle modes. Just going to start over here left to right. This is Mashin Maha, done in a very fun, sparkly green. I think it's really cool how most of the plastic is translucent, and they also have, I'm guessing, some kind of like holofoil paper underneath the plastic to give it the sparkles, which is really, really fun. Now we are going to see a version, there's a red version of the car that was given away to some people in a lottery for the first release, and then they just kind of opened it up on Premium Bandai. So I do have that on order, and when that comes in, I will eventually review that as well. But for now, I like the car in green. Very sparkly, very fun. Rolls pretty well. Let me back these up a smidge here so you can see it roll. But yeah, otherwise it's pretty much just a cool little car. Not too much else to do with it right now. Next up we have Mashin Shovel. Very, very tiny. Also has wheels though, so it rolls very well. This guy rolls really well. He can go flying past. You do have a little bit of movement here in the arm, so you can... it's kind of weird though, like if you try to get him to actually work as a shovel, there's some clearance issues and whatnot. But, you know, he can kind of pretend to grab some dirt, I guess. This can actually spin around, which is mostly for the arm articulation, but you can have it added as part of the... I guess it would help you kind of pretend to dig dirt. So there you go. Dig dirt. Anyway, very cool. You can see here more of that kind of holofoil, whether it's a sticker or... paper or whatever underneath the plastic. I appreciate that nothing is really like stickers applied to the plastic. It's all inside, so it can't really peel or anything. You have a little bit of white paint here. But yeah, pretty nice. Like I said, rolls well. Our main articulation point there, but you can also move this and this and this. So decent. Next up, we'll leave the big guy for last. Here is Mashin Jet. Again, fun sparklies, very fun when they hit the light. I like that quite a bit. He has wheels as well underneath, so he can actually roll around pretty well. I don't know, there's something really satisfying about rolling these around. I don't know why, even though I'm just slamming it into red. But yeah, the little jet looks pretty cool. Would have been nice if they would have like painted the windows here, but I understand. Not a big deal. Really nice sparkly holofoil there on the wings. Very cool. And then last for the tinier mecha, we have Mashin Sentai, short for helicopter. This spins very well, no clearance issues with the back tail, which I appreciate. Very nice. Definitely a lot of that holofoil there on the inside of that helicopter blade. Love that. Very, very cool. Otherwise, not really too much else to do in this mode except spin the helicopter blades. But you have some nice metallic paint. Translucent plastics, very cool. So, definitely looks very good. Let's move on to Machine Fire. So here is the big boy. I'm going to move these guys out to the side for a moment. He is definitely the bulk of the set, forming mostly the legs and chest and one arm of the robot. So he is definitely the big boy of the set, but he's got lots of wheels. He rolls very well indeed. The cool thing about this, you can lift this back. It's really more for the transformation, but you can lift it back, can move side to side. It's kind of one of those deals where you move it and it starts to move, and you can kind of leave it in between, but you see it clicks into place. So it's got the three main spots, side, side, center, but you can kind of put it in the middle and it'll stay, but then you can see it like naturally clicks back into place. The other thing you can do is lift this out, and then you can, there's a little nubbin right here. Pop that forward, and there you go. You can extend the fire ladder, which is pretty cool. Let's see, the way this bends, you can do it like that if you want to move it around for a little bit more mobility. But again, that's mostly transformation articulation, but pop that back in, close that back up, and there you go. So pretty neat. I like him a lot. He's got some nice paint, got the white lines, got a little bit of silver flames there on the front, black windows, white continues on the side. So very cool. I like all these guys quite a bit. Real quick, I'll show off their jewel modes. It's very simple. For shovel, you just push this in, push that all the way in, and then this comes up and clicks into place. And there you go. There's the yellow jewel. Green, you just unhook this, flip it around. There's the green jewel. Blue, flip this around, fold the wings in. There's the blue jewel. Pink, flip this around like so. This will bend in half and then clip in there. Pink jewel. And then red, just kind of lift this back a smidge. This flips up and then back down. And there is the red jewel. So, there's not much to the jewel forms, but I think it's neat. It's definitely something they didn't have to do. You know, it fits in with the lore of the show and everything, so I think it's kind of cool because they have these gems that talk to them, and then they turn into the mecha. The mecha will talk to them. The Kiramagers, obviously, I mean. But, yeah, it's fun. It's kind of goofy, but I like it. So you have one massive jewel, and then you have these 4 tinier jewels. But yeah, they're sparkly, they're fun. I like it quite a bit. Next up, we're going to go ahead and we will do Land Mage first. Alright, so first thing we're going to do to form Land Mage, we're going to flip this all the way back. And then we can turn this 90 degrees. Split apart the legs. Flip out the feet. Boom, there you go. Drop the arm down. That's the majority of the robot mode, to be quite honest. We're going to take shovel. We're going to straighten him out a little bit. Maybe put the hand all the way down. Open up the little thumb connection port connector. Boom. And the cool thing about that is you can see how the white line now kind of goes all the way across. I like that. I like that they painted that on there. Works perfectly. Next, you're going to take green. There's a little clip right here, and that's going to clip on right up here. There we go. If you want, you can leave them like that if you just want them to have a crazy car head. But really what you're supposed to do is go ahead and pop this open like so, and pull it over to the side so it kind of makes like a shoulder pad. And then there you go. That is a Land Mage. I really like the head sculpt. I think that looks really cool. Simple, but I like it. Nice metallic blue paint for the eyes. A little bit of red and silver there. Looks pretty sharp. Articulation wise, you can move the arm at this connection, and you can also move it at this connection. So whichever you prefer, whatever you think looks better, you can move it both places. This you can move, even though the green's on top. You can see it doesn't really get in the way, which is nice. If you wanted to flip this out, like we did earlier, you certainly could. If you wanted to pretend like you had this crazy long gun, you could certainly do so. So that's kind of fun. Otherwise, not really much in the way of articulation. Legs are pretty straight. Not much else is going on there. I do kind of love how he has the wheels in his feet, because it makes me feel like he's on a Segway. It just rolls around. I don't know, it makes me laugh. Size comparison. Let's see, what do we have here? Here is a... Oop, as I knock stuff over. This is a Hasbro Studio Series Deluxe. So I would say he's probably about twice as tall as that. But to be fair, those have been shrinking in recent years. Here is a Voyager class Mixmaster. So he's maybe a third as tall as him, like if he's 2/3 of this guy. So, just to give you some kind of idea, he's definitely not one of your taller Sentai Mecha. I've seen a lot of people compare him to Juo King, which I think is a pretty fair comparison. They're probably about the same size, but I like him. I definitely think if you were starting out this small, it's because we're going to keep piling stuff on, and hopefully by the end of this, we should have some crazy combinations. We do have some clips here in the bottom of the feet, and this kind of looks like something this would fit into something and then peg in here, so he's probably going to get shoes at some point. Should be some other stuff. So if we're looking around, I don't really see anything. I mean, maybe these pegs in the back could be something, but I feel like that's kind of reaching. I don't know. I'm trying to see where else. I mean, you could always take this off and maybe have this peg on somewhere else and then have something different peg on top of here. That's always a possibility. Or different arms peg on. I don't really see anything that could clip onto this. So I don't know. This is all just hypothetical stuff, trying to see what could possibly clip onto this combined mecha to see what kind of craziness we could get up to. But there's definitely clips down here, so I'm sure we're definitely going to get shoes at some point. So we'll see how that goes. But for now, like I said, I mean, he's got about as much articulation as any other Sentai mech, so I can't really complain. I like him. I think this form is very simple, but elegant. And I like the color combinations. So, let's move on to Sky Mage. Sky Mage is actually very simple to transform. It kind of reminds me of like a Transformers Duocon, I'm not going to lie. You take this, you flip this back around, pretty much like you're transforming him back into the Jewel mode, and then you just split the legs apart. Then you take this, you flip this around like so. Then this actually rotates back, and then this rotates up like that. So it's kind of two separate pieces. So this white piece is on one track, and then the head is on a separate track. So this goes back, then this goes up. And then you have two clips right here and here, and those are going to go right here and here. And there you go. That's it. There's your Sky Mage. It would have been neat if the arms could have swung forward, but I get it. I understand why that can't happen. But he has the propeller on his head. And really all that can make me think of is Inspector Gadget with his helicopter hat. But he looks cool. I like him. Very basic head sculpt, but I think it works. Almost kind of looks like aviator shades, which makes sense since they're both sky vehicles. But that blue on the crest there I think is really nicely painted. So pretty cool. He's definitely tiny. I'll just bring in the same deluxe Studio Series Transformer, shorter than that. So he's honestly probably about the size of like a Soto figure. Here, hold on. Surprise cameo by Geo Kuga Armor. You can see that they're roughly the same size. Back to back. Yeah, so he might actually be a little bit smaller. He might be like a Shoto size. So yeah, he's tiny. But I think he's very fun. I think it's neat that these two have their own little robot mode, because they certainly didn't have to do that. They could have just had Land Mage and then Kiramajin, but they actually gave you Sky Mage as well. So I think that's really, really cool. So here are the two together. You can see he's, I wouldn't even say half as tall. Well, maybe just half as tall. But he's definitely tiny in comparison. But let's go ahead, let's get these two merged together. So we're going to go ahead and just separate these. Going to take Mashin Hediko, and we're going to flip this back. Actually, hold on a second. I can figure this out. No, you take this. This stays up like this. These go at about a 45-degree angle. And then you're going to bring this up. You're going to split this. And there's the tiniest little notch. You can see it right there. And that's going to kind of clip onto this right here. And it's kind of funny how it works, because they're not really on the same level, but because like this can tilt a smidge, you can line that up and then they'll clip into place. And then you're going to use the same two clips from Sky Mage and pop them into these clips here on the front. Just like that. Going to bring this guy back. While you have his legs open, you can go ahead and flip this. We'll flip all this out for now. But this handle needs to come around. Then peg that back in. Then close this back up. And then there's a tiny little nub here for a slider. That's going to extend that out just a tiny little bit. But there you go. There's your sword. So you just go ahead and plug that into the fist. And the very last thing we need to do, come up to the head. And you'll see that in here, there is a tiny little black tab, which you can grab. And use that to flip the new head around. And there you go. I think that's a really cool head. I like how it has all four of the colors. And then you have the really nice metallic blue for the eyes and great silver for the face. There is your Kiramajin. He looks good. As you can probably tell, he's not really any taller than Land Mage. But he's got, you know, cool chest piece and a cool weapon. And you can actually put this in this hand as well. There is a tiny little peg, or not, I should say, there's a tiny peg hole molded into the bucket of the shovel. So you can peg that in that hand too if you wish, which is pretty cool. So it works. I appreciate that. I appreciate that they put that in because, you know, eventually we're going to get more weapons. So I'm glad that he could, you know, potentially wield two. Because if this hand was completely worthless, it would be kind of a bummer. So I appreciate that they molded that in so he can actually dual wield weapons. That's really, really cool. But yeah, he looks good. Very, very shiny, as you can see, as the light catches him. He's very sparkly, which is fun. And I really like the head sculpt. And I don't know, I'm just really excited to see what else is to come. What else we can add and build onto this. But yeah, I think there's a lot of fun here, and I'm excited to see what's coming next. I think this is a blast. I definitely recommend this set to anyone who's interested. Now is the time to get in on the ground floor for Kiramager. I mean, yeah, I guess everyone's biggest complaint is probably just that he's really short. But like I said, I think the reason they start out short is because they plan to add on as we go. Like I said, he's about the same size as Juo King, and we all know how crazy that got by the time we were done with that one. Just adding on more and more cubes. By the time we got to the whale, you know, it was just... I mean, hopefully it'll be a little bit better combination than that, because that was literally just stacking cubes up to be legs, but that's an argument for another day. I think this guy's a lot of fun. There's already a ton of playability in just this set. You have 5 vehicles. You can turn them into 5 jewels. You have 2 smaller robo combinations, and then the combination of all 5. So there's definitely a lot of playability here. I think that's really fun. Plus, like I said, I love all the crazy holofoil stickers inside. And I like the fact that they're not applied to the outside of the plastic, so you shouldn't have any problem with peeling because they're inside, which I appreciate. But they still, you know, reflect the light, and it's a lot of fun and sparkly. And it's just perfectly in keeping with the motif of them all being jewels. I think they really executed that well. I like the way it hides the second head. It's so easy to swap between the two. I'm glad they didn't do some kind of piece that has to clip on or anything like that, or something that's could easily fall off or get lost. Like, everything's self-contained. You're not going to lose any pieces, anything like that. So I really appreciate that. Really appreciate that they molded in a peg hole into the bucket of the shovel. I definitely think that helps because he's going to have a bunch of weapons and you're going to want him to dual wield. And it's already kind of a frail looking arm as it is when compared to the other arm. So I'm glad they at least made it versatile, that it has a use. And it's not just this sad kind of decrepit arm just hanging off to the side, not able to do anything. So I'm definitely glad that they molded that in there. But yeah, like I said, I can't really find too much to complain about this guy. Like I said, the only thing I can really think of is that he's small, but I really do think in the end that's going to be a benefit. And I definitely recommend grabbing him if you can. I got this on HLJ, and the set of 5, I think it normally retails for $70, but they had it on sale for like $55. They usually offer some discounts when stuff comes out, so I think it was around $55. And honestly, for what you get, I think that's a totally fair price. You know, it's kind of up in the area of like a leader class transformer, something like that. But there's a ton of playability here, and I just think it's a lot of fun. So that's going to do it for this one. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.